For many reasons, the names George Jones and Tammy Wynette ring bells in the ears of country music lovers. Unfortunately, An Ugly Marriage is one of the bells. Although the two recorded some of the best country music to date, their unheroic marriage remains a dent in their accomplishments. Join Facts First as we unravel why George Jones and Tammy Wynette had the ugliest marriage in country music. George and Tammy originally met in a Nashville recording studio, where they later deepened their friendship. When Wynette met Jones, she found a kindred spirit in the man who had been her idol growing up. Over time, the two grew closer than friends or casual acquaintances. Conveniently, Wynette was having marital problems at the time. She took advantage of her newly discovered happiness and drove away with Jones and her 3 girls. Wynette hastily left for Mexico and filed for divorce from her second husband, though apparently she married him before the breakup of her first marriage was finalized, making her second marriage invalid. With nothing in their way, George and Tammy both entered into their third marriage on February 16, 1969. Together, they have 6 children from prior marriages. The following year, they welcomed a baby girl, Tamala Georgette. The partnership between Wynette and Jones was a turning point in both of their careers. By joining Wynette's record label, Jones and Wynette were able to work together more easily, and their duets were unforgettable. Take Me, a duet included on their debut album We Go Together, was a huge smash. Their song The Ceremony was a duet of the couple singing their wedding vows to one another. Jones and Wynette almost immediately began touring together, and their tour bus had the slogan Mr. and Mrs. Country Music. To them, it didn't matter who was the bigger draw at any given venue. Both could share the spotlight. But despite the success they enjoyed, their married life didn't seem to have been picture perfect. Even after getting married for the 3rd time, Jones kept up his habit of binge drinking. It was apparent he was an alcoholic. One time he went to the liquor store on a lawnmower, an adventure that later inspired a painting in Nashville. He supposedly did that because Wynette had hidden the car keys so he couldn't drive to the liquor store. In her autobiography, she wrote about Jones chasing her around their house with a rifle after returning home drunk. I Lived to Tell It All, Jones's autobiography, includes his response to Wynette's claim. He wrote, "Tammy claimed I fired a gun at her as she ran across our backyard. Nonsense." Nonetheless, he was not amused by the way he was portrayed shooting up the house that he had worked so hard to restore in a TV movie based on Wynette's memoirs. Around 4 years later, Wynette's patience ran out with Jones's heavy drinking, and she filed for divorce. She later clarified that the attempted divorce was an effort to control his alcoholism and that the couple were still together. They came up with another love-themed collaboration called We're Gonna Hold On. While their duet was a huge hit, it couldn't save their marriage. Jones started drinking again, and his conduct became increasingly unpredictable. After getting into a heated discussion with Wynette about missing a recording session, Jones loaded up his brand new Cadillac and headed to Florida. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. This incident led to Wynette once again filing for divorce. It was finalized in March of 1975. She was in possession of their daughter, band, tour bus, and their Nashville home. In the open, Jones accepted responsibility for their split and expressed a desire for amicable relations. Sadly, there was no reunion for Mr. and Mrs. Country Music. Jones appeared to be the one who grieved the most once they went their separate ways. There were times when he made the trip from Alabama only to drive by the driveway of the house they had once shared in Nashville. His music career also wasn't as vibrant as it was before the divorce. However, Jones gave Wynette a brand new Thunderbird for Mother's Day a year after they split up. They continued to perform as a duo and were overseen by the same record label after their marriage ended. Following the success of their first duet, Golden Ring, they teamed up again for another chart-topping single, Near You. Eventually, the divorce had an effect on their professional lives. He earned the moniker No-Show due to his chronic absence from concerts, which he blamed on his drinking and cocaine use. While Jones was kept down in a spiral by his addictions, fans were chanting "Where's George" at Wynette's concerts. After her 5th marriage to George Ritchie in 1978, Wynette later sued Jones for failing to pay child support. Soon afterwards, Wynette was allegedly abducted by a man who assaulted her. Although Wynette never confirmed nor denied the rumors, many people believed that an unhinged Jones follower was responsible for the alleged assault. However, Wynette's daughter claimed her mother had made up the narrative to make up for Ritchie's abuse. When asked about it, Ritchie only denied the allegations. Despite their rough experiences, they still reconciled on a professional level. After releasing Together Again and Two-Story House in 1980, they appeared to have accepted their decision to pursue separate lives. They got back together in 1995 to record a duet album and go on tour. At the end of the day, they managed to become good friends. But before Mr. and Mrs. Country came together, they both had a life and a past. Tammy Wynette was a sensation during her heyday. She was acclaimed as the First Lady of country music. Before she became one of the best-selling female musicians of the late 60s and 70s, she had the life of a housewife. Upal Bird, her first husband, married her when she was 17. Their marriage was short-lived despite having 3 daughters. Tammy abandoned Upal before the birth of their third child, Tina. Unfortunately, Tina was born prematurely and developed spinal meningitis. To pay for rising medical bills, Tammy took jobs as a beautician and performer. Her performing endeavors saw her perform on the Country Boy Eddie Show and later with Porter Wagoner on stage. After getting signed to Epic Records by Billy Sherrill, she changed her name from Virginia Wynette Pugh to Tammy Wynette. Among her remarkable hits are Divorce and Stand By Your Man, with the latter winning her a Grammy. Wynette's health continued to decline in later years. She reportedly underwent more than 15 major operations. She allegedly also became dependent on painkillers. She died on April 6, 1998 at age 55. George Jones was born September 12, 1931 in Saratoga, Texas. He moved to Jasper, Texas when he was 16 to pursue a career in music. He had a humble beginning, singing at a radio station, which paved the way for his rise to fame. He put out his first record January 19, 1954, and was nicknamed Possum Jones. Despite a successful music career, his personal life was nothing to write home about. His alcoholism and drug usage took the balance out of his life and almost ruined his music. Things went south for Jones and he ended up broke and homeless. He was fortunate enough to have met Nancy Sepulvado, whom he later married. He credited her with getting his life back together. She handled all the responsibilities of his career, his finances, and sobriety. With his career on the up and up, Jones continued to produce excellent country music, eventually winning the Grammy Award for Best Male Country Vocal Performance for his song Choices. He passed away at age 81 in 2013, following multiple hospitalizations for respiratory illness. Though it's arguable they had the ugliest marriage in the history of country music, there's no denying they were great performers. The two will forever be celebrated for their contributions to country music. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite song of George Jones and Tammy Wynette? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content. By the way, if you haven't joined Facts First as a member yet, be sure to look below this video and click the join button. By becoming a paid member of Facts First, you'll get access to exclusive video content that you won't find anywhere else. This includes some of our more mature content that isn't suitable for public audiences, which includes topics like Hollywood actresses who posed for Playboy and some of the steamiest moments in movie history. Plus, you can enjoy these videos completely ad-free. Our biggest fans will notice they also get badges next to their name when they leave comments on our videos. We pay special attention to comments from our members, and so do other viewers. So if you want exclusive content from Facts First or inside access to discussions with other community members, click the join button to get started for just $4.99. There are hours of members-only videos waiting for you, with new videos added every month. And we're actively working on bringing even more features to help fans like you connect with other members and get more of your favorite content. Just click join, and we'll see you inside the membership tab.